Next passage. The levels of dissolved oxygen in the world's ocean waters are declining precipitously. Just like humans, fish need oxygen to survive, and so in ocean areas experiencing significant levels of oxygen scarcity, or what is known as hypoxia. Fish populations are plummeting, dropping. Although some hypoxic areas called dead zones occur naturally, hypoxia in coastal areas and inland waters is caused mainly by agricultural runoff and by discharge of industrial wastewater. What are we talking about? Levels of dissolved oxygen in the world. So, dissolved oxygen levels are dropping dangerously. Just like humans, fish need this dissolved oxygen to survive. Fish population is severely dropping. So there are some areas known as dead zones which occur naturally, but we have a lot of these areas coming up in coastal areas and inland waters, which is mainly caused by something called agricultural runoff, and by discharge of industrial wastewater, that is dropping the dissolved oxygen levels. Okay. More than 100 permanent dead zones, many covering thousands of square miles, exist worldwide today. Since reproductive of this threat, since reproductive of this threat to marine life and genetic diversity can hardly be stressed. I think this is importance. Importance of this threat to marine life and genetic diversity can hardly be overstated. After several months in hypoxic waters, female fish produce fewer eggs. Moreover, hypoxic conditions serve to alter the normal ratio between two particular hormones manufactured during the embryonic stage when a fish's gender is determined. So, what is the problem with this hypoxic zones? What exactly is the issue? The first one, female fish are producing fewer eggs. Okay. Also, it alter ratio of what? Ratio between fish to hormones. These hormones are used to determine gender. The ratio between two gender determining hormones is also disrupted. We'll take a look at what that causes. During gestation and under these conditions, the mother produces more testosterone, which inhibits the development of female reproductive organs and other female characteristics in the embryo, while promoting the development of male traits. So, all of this is happening during the embryonic stage. So, basically, this will cause a gender imbalance. Causing a gender imbalance, and even within the females there may be a situation where uh, the female traits may not fully develop. That is a major issue. The implications of declining oxygen levels extend beyond individual species, so it has gone beyond individual species, very important line, to entire ecosystems. So this could be a problem for entire ecosystem, not just individual species. Marine biodiversity is at risk as species that cannot adapt to hypoxic conditions may face extinction, leading to a cascade of effects throughout the food web. So marine biodiversity is in threat. Predators may struggle to find adequate prey, while other marine organisms such as coral reefs, which rely on healthy fish populations for symbiotic relationship, may also deteriorate. The loss of biodiversity can disrupt ecosystem services that are essential for human communities, including fisheries, tourism, and coastal protection. So all of this is basically talking about how entire ecosystems can be disrupted. All right. Okay. Next question. Which of the following might the author cite as an example of the fusion of traditional craftsmanship and cutting edge technology as described in the passage? Decline of traditional woodworking methods? No. The exclusive use of 3D printing in carpentry? No. What we're looking at is traditional craftsmanship merging with cutting edge technology. The abandonment of subparts in modern carpentry? Absolutely not. Their importance is what is known as, what is showed. The use of CAD for designing of wood pieces, right? Using wood pieces and using CAD, just showing both traditional craftsmanship and merger with cutting edge technology. Given the author's position on the importance of subparts in carpentry, what stand would the author probably take on the issue of using alternative materials in woodworking? So, given the author's stance on subparts, the way he thinks, which is a usage of traditional forms with cutting edge technology, right? That's the way he thinks. We need to apply the same principle to something else, like that same kind of logic. All right, and that is usage of alternative materials in woodworking. How would the author feel about using alternative materials in woodworking? Let's take a look. The author would likely advocate for alternative materials. This is too linear, right? Like, in the sense that he's not going to directly just agree with using alternative materials. His stand is to use traditional as well as non-traditional cutting edge methods. So A is not enough. The author would likely reject alternative materials in favor of traditional ones. No, he's quite in favor of using tech or new things. The author's stance on alternative materials is unclear. So basically, this we can't use. While yes, the alternative materials angle is not really given, but the question is saying that having known something about his position on something else, how would you apply it on this? So you can't just say this position is unclear, right? So C is wrong. The author would likely argue for a balanced approach incorporating both traditional and modern materials. That is my answer, because that's the kind of approach he has taken for the subparts as well, right? He said balanced, he took a balanced approach, said use traditional methods and also use cutting edge tech. So D is right. Which of the following lines best summarizes the essence of the conclusion regarding the significance of subparts in modern manufacturing? Traditional craftsmanship is no longer relevant in today's industry. Incorrect. Subparts are insignificant in modern manufacturing compared to larger components. Incorrect. The fusion of tradition and innovation stresses the importance of subparts in modern manufacturing. That is correct. The fusion of tradition and innovation stresses the importance of subparts. D. Manufacturers should prioritize speed and quantity over. This is not really discussed. How does hypoxia affect female reproduction? It increases egg production? No. It decreases the production. It has no effect? No. It decreases egg production is correct. It improves the survival rate is incorrect. What term is used in the passage to describe areas with significantly low levels of oxygen? Oxygen rich zones, completely against it. Dead zones is the right way. We looked at it. Marine reserves, absolutely not. Hypoxic waters is not used. They call it dead zones is what they're called. That is the term used. What effect do altered hormone levels during gestation have on fish embryos in hypoxic conditions? They promote the development of female traits. Incorrect. The embryos release more testosterone, therefore male traits are chosen. They cause all embryos to become hermaphrodites. No, not mentioned. They have no impact on gender determination is incorrect. They inhibit female traits and promote male traits. That's correct. Female traits are inhibited and male traits are promoted due to production of more testosterone. Okay. What broader ecological impact does declining oxygen levels have, as mentioned in the passage? Increase in hypoxic fish population. Beyond, the passage said, beyond individual species, there's a problem of the ecosystem. Enrichment of coral reefs, no, nothing positive. Disruption of entire ecosystems is correct. Degradation of marine biodiversity, I mean, it is really the entire ecosystem which is being affected. Degradation of marine biodiversity is happening, but beyond uh, the level of individuals, we see that it is the entire ecosystems which are getting disrupted. That is the major problem. What reproductive success critical for any species according to? Why is reproductive success critical to any species according to the passage? It ensures the continuation of genetic diversity. Correct. Genetic diversity is required, therefore continuation of the species is required, therefore success is critical, reproductive success is critical. It determines the physical traits of the species. Incorrect. It affects the feeding habits. No. It implies the increase in habitat size is not relevant. Which of the following implications of hypoxia is not mentioned in the passage? Implications. Okay. Permanent loss of fish population in affected areas is not mentioned. Change, that is true. There can be a permanent loss of certain fish populations. Changes in the gender ratio, that is also something that we saw. Increased competition among fishes. What kind of competition? Unclear. This is not really mentioned. Therefore, C is my answer. No competition was discussed amongst the fish population. Decline in ecosystem services such as fisheries and tourism is mentioned in the last part. So, C is my answer. In the context of the passage, which of the following best characterizes the term sustainability? Within the context of the passage that is given, what would sustainability mean in this context? That's the question. Maintaining current fish populations at all costs, including government initiatives? No. Ensuring the reproductive success of marine species for future generations? Okay, this looks interesting. I'll keep this. Focusing solely on economic benefits? Absolutely not. Prioritizing industrial growth? No. Sustainability is ensuring that reproductive success of marine species for future generations, because it may be important not just for that species but on a broader level as well. That is sustainability, to sustain a particular species, organism, or an entire environment. Okay, that's it. Thank you.